Hello, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Funfold Friday. I have to say, this week really went by fast. I don't know how you feel about it, but boy, it did for me, and that actually feels great. It wasn't one of those long weeks. It was busy, but man, it was cold. So, I hope you didn't have the cold weather that we had. So, we are here for another fun fold, and I'm very excited about sharing this fun fold with you tonight. It is going to be bright and colorful and spring light, which is what I need. So, I am going to be using the Celebration heart-shaped bundle, but I'm only going to be using some of the stamps, and from the bundle itself I will be using some of the dies. So I'll be using some of the leaf dies, some of the flower dies, this little die here, the heart die. Well, I'm using almost all the dies except one, I guess I should say. So let's get started. This actually, out of everything that went live this week with the new catalog and Celebration, this is one of my favorite sets from the entire collection. I just saw this and fell in love with it. And my first thought was, I don't really have anything that is Valentine. And so I thought, my first thought was, this will be great for Valentine's Day. But then I thought, oh no, this will be good for so many other things. So we're going to be using a lot of the different parts tonight. Hi Bonnie, welcome. And so let me show you the card that we're making. I am going to show you a split gatefold card. I've shown you lots of gatefold cards, but this is a really cool one. So I'm using Daffodil Delight, Daffodil Delight paper, and this is what the front of the card looks like. Let's just make sure it's in the camera view for everyone to see. I'm using all new product on this, except for the Daffodil Delight ink and paper and the old olive paper. But I'm using the ribbon from the collection, I'm using some gems, and I'm also using the die cuts and some new designer series paper. So when this card opens up, it opens up like this. Cool, huh? So the split is this big space you have in between. Hi Lynn, thanks for joining. All right, let's get started. I am going to start with my stamping tonight. Now, what I usually do when I am die cutting some different images from paper that I'm using in layers, I die cut from the layers themselves. And tonight, I have to be, even though I did cut from this, the one thing I wasn't thinking about was when I put these layers together, it looks great from the front, but when you open up the card, you really don't want all of this showing through. So I went back and cut another piece so that it's not showing through. But just something to think about when you are doing your die cutting from layers. I really support it because it saves paper, but in this case you don't want to see the messy die cuts in the back of the card, so it's fine to do it from the Daffodil Delight. All right, so for these layers we are going to need a piece of old Olive Cardstock that is 3 7/8 inches by 3 inches. We're going to need a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock that measures 2 7/8 by 3 3/4 inches. And we're going to need a piece of basic white that's 2 7/8 by 3 3/4 inches, so that they'll all layer about 1/8 of an inch apart. And then we also need a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So let's start with these pieces. Oh, and we are going to need some scraps of white and Lemon Lolly and Daffodil Delight and Old Olive to do our die cutting. And just to save time, I've done my die cutting. All of these dies can fit, you can fit multiple of them on in the small machine, in the mini embossing machine, or you can use the large one if that's the one you have. So for this project, I'm going to need 4 Lemon Lolly flowers. I am going to need 4 of the Old Olive leaves. I'm going to need 2 of the Daffodil Delight little stems here. And I'm also going to need 1 Old Olive wreath. So that's what we need die cutting. Okay, let's do our stamping first. On the inside of the card, I am going to start with stamping some of the flowers in the Daffodil Delight. And what I love about this little thing of flowers, I don't know how well you can see it through the clear block, is that it's kind of curved. So I'm able to take this curved stamp and I can do it right in the corners. So here we go. I'm going to do opposite sides in the upper left corner and then in the lower right corner. And I'm just stamping those 2 little bouquets of flower in the Daffodil Delight. Then I am going to take the Old Olive and I'm going to just be adding some little tiny leaves. So I'm going to ink that up and I'm going to put them on both sides. So I'll put a couple over here. And put at least 1 on the opposite side. I'll hold this up closer so you can get a better look at it after I finish stamping all of these little guys. There are so many wonderful color combinations you could do with this. So I think this is going to be a really fun set to have. So this is what the inside looks like once you're done with the stamping. So pretty. I just love it. Just gives enough to the inside. You have enough space where you can write your message, and you have enough space if you wanted to actually do another image stamped on the inside, and just making sure you can see a little bit of that. Okay, now on our smaller piece of white, I am going to just take this beautiful heart wreath. I just love it. So the celebration qualifying purchases have changed a little bit. So this year, to get the lower level, I think that's a little crooked. I want to change that. To get the, there's a $60 level and a $120 level. And this particular set bundle, because it has dies with it, is a $120 level. So when you purchase $120, not including shipping and tax, there we go, much better. You can get a free, either 1 free celebration item, or you can get 2 free celebration items. So you can get a 120 level, or you can get the 2 of the $60 levels. So be looking at that celebration brochure. If you need one, let me know and I will send one to you. There we go. And I stamped the thank you on the label. Okay, that's all the stamping we have to do. So what I'm going to do now is do this layering so that I can put this on the front of the card in a minute. So I'm going to layer the Daffodil Delight onto the Old Olive, and then I'm going to layer the piece of basic white onto the Daffodil Delight. There we go. And I'm also going to take my wreath and let's see, grab a silicone mat because I'm going to be putting some glue on the back side of this. And I'm going to, you can see that it's a really pretty stamped image, the wreath itself, but I'm going to be putting this Old Olive wreath right on top of it. So you'll see some of the stamped wreath below the, underneath the cardstock wreath, and then you'll see also the wreath. Hi Barbara, thanks for joining. We're making a split gatefold card tonight. So I'll just finish adding a little bit of adhesive. I don't need a lot for this. Oops, I just put a lot on one spot. We'll spread it out a little bit. There we go. All right, so then I am going to take, let's see, do I have some tweezers over here? I'm just going to pick this up with my tweezers so that I don't get glue all over my hands. And I am going to set this right over the wreath. So that is what it looks like when it's over the stamped image. It's just, I just love it. I haven't tried it yet with doing different colors, but I will probably do that. I'm going to be doing some playing this weekend, but really pretty. I will tell you the stamp from this, My Thoughts of You Are All Heart-Shaped, fit right inside this wreath, even with the paper wreath over it. Okay, I'm going to set that aside so that we can start doing our scoring and putting our base together. So what you need for the base is a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 Daffodil Delight cardstock. And I'm going to be using the Floral Delight Designer Series paper that comes with another bundle, and I'll be showing that one week, this week. I'm going to use more of a solid color pattern, and then I'll be using also a beautiful floral pattern from this Designer Series paper. So you are going to need 2 pieces of this that measure 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, and then you're going to need 4 pieces that measure 1 1/4 inch by 5 1/4 inch. All right, so let's get our scoreboard out and get ready to do some scoring. You just get a scoring tool. All right, so I'm going to put my card down, and I have a lot of scoring to do for this little card. So we are going to start with scoring at, I have my little cheat sheet at 3/4 of an inch. Then we're going to score at 2 1/4 inches. Then we're scoring at 6 1/4 inch. And finally, we're scoring at 7 3/4 inches. And that's it. Okay, let's get my bone folder. I'm going to go into the 2 1/4 inch fold and fold it in just like I'm folding it in for a normal card. And then I'm going to take that 3/4 inch and I am going to fold it in the opposite way. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to burnish that and then score this piece in the opposite direction. So you can see why it's called a split gatefold card, because there's this split right down the middle, and it will allow us to see whatever we put inside the card. So if I wanted, I could put some designer series paper right in this panel, and you would see that. But I'm going to, as you know, put in the white. So this piece is going to go right inside the card. We already stamped it. And I'm just going to add it in. This piece, I don't think I mentioned it. It's, of course, the regular 4 by 5 1/4 piece of white cardstock. All right, now I'm going to add my designer series paper. So the designer series paper, the largest pieces are going to go on both of these panels, and they're also going to go on the front panels. That's why we need 4. So I like this designer series paper too. It's just really pretty. So I'm going to start on this side and put this piece right on this panel. And then I'm going to put this piece on the other front panel. And then they're both going to go on those inside panels afterwards. Thank you, Barbara. I'm such a sucker for floral cards, floral stamp sets, floral dies. That this designer series paper and stamp set are right up my alley. I just love making, you know, beautiful feminine cards. Okay, so now we've got those 2 pieces in, and we need to put our pieces on the front. And I really loved how these 2 patterns went together. They just look so nice. You've got this nice solid pattern that's not overtaking the floral pattern. It just complements it very nicely. All right, there's that part of the card made. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to put this in as well, and I'm going to be centering it on this. So I am going to want to put my adhesive right here, but I don't want to go over that edge too much. So I want to leave a little piece because this is the only place it's going to attach. So I want it to be centered at the top and bottom. And of course I want it to be centered side to side as well. So I'm just going to double check. No adhesive came through, so that's good. So there's the front of my card. It's easier to add that adhesive unless I decide to use tear and tape before I put all the decorations on. Okay, so I am going to be using my liquid glue again. So let's grab that silicone mat, and I am just going to be putting some right in the center of the flowers. They're going to go in 2 places. 3 of these flowers are going to have adhesive, and 1 of them is going to have a dimensional. And I think I need the little baby, or I need one of these. Let me just cut a piece off. So I have like a half a dimensional. And I'm just going to make sure as I put this on that it's just not going to be seen on the outside. Perfect. Okay, so those flowers have enough. And then I'm going to be adding just some dots to the little vine with some flowers that I cut out of the Daffodil Delight. The glue is not going to dry immediately, so I can put it all on at the same time. That will help with my decorating. I'm going to add some to the leaves. And I am going to see what I want to do for my saying, but I'm not going to do anything right now. So the first thing I am going to do is I am going to add some ribbon. So this ribbon comes with one of the suites in the catalog, the same suite that it comes with the paper. So it's Delightful Daffodil Delight. And what I'm going to do is just take a little piece that I am going to add, kind of have it swirling a little bit. So it's going to be behind that label, and it's going to be behind some of the flowers as well. Before I do that, I am going to start putting some of these pieces on. And I'm just going to pick them up again with my tweezers just to prevent the glue from getting everywhere. So I'm going to put the first one down. I am going to have it going up towards the left. And then I'm going to put the second one on, and it's going to be coming off of the wreath down towards the bottom of the label I'm making. I'm going to take one of my floral pieces, my flowers, and I am going to put this sort of off to the side down here. Just hold it in place for a minute. And then I'm going to take one of these little leaves and put it right under. The leaf is only down I mean, the flowers only adhered in the middle. So I'm just going to move this under the flower like that. See, I get glue everywhere. Normal people don't, but I get glue everywhere. All right, so then for my other flowers, I am going to put one flower on before I put all of my little, I'm going to have it right up here. So let me just hold it down. I am going to position this ribbon kind of going up, down. Oh, I thought I cut a piece off. Here we are. I'm going to add a little glue dot to where it's going to be covered up. So I'm not going to have to worry about that too much. So I'll have this coming like this. I'm going to add another glue dot. This is the fun part of this card, getting to be able to decorate it. I'm going to have a piece coming up, and then a piece that's going to come down, and then a piece that's going to come up again. So let me just get, and I think I lost a leaf in my, it's stuck to something. Oh, right here, I lost a flower and a leaf. Pick them right up with my glue dots. Okay, so I am going to take one more glue dot, hopefully not pick up anything else. And I am going to put it under right here, about where the tag is going to go. Okay, so I've got that on. Now let's finish putting the flowers on. So I'm going to have another one that's going to come down here. So I'm going to hold that in place. And then I'm going to add the third one with that dimensional, a little off center. Oh, Priscilla, you're so funny. Then we're going to add these little leaves. And we're just going to put them in just to have them fill in some of the spots. There we go. And we'll put one more up a little higher. It's coming out there. All right, so then we're going to find our thank you. I am going to cut this off a bit. It's going to go under the flowers a little bit. I want to have it go just about where that other glue dot is, so we kind of hide those glue dots. And I'm going to actually put a couple more glue dots on here. Okay. So we'll add a couple more glue dots. And this is going to go on right like that. And then we're going to use some of the new antique pearls. I love these. They are so pretty. They come in 3 different sizes. And we are going to start with the small ones to go on the, put them right on the center of the flowers. And there we have, whoops, this one got stuck to my finger. See, too much glue on it. And this is our fun fold card for tonight. Can see how it opens up. It can stand like this, so you still have that gatefold look as it's standing. And when it sits flat on its back like this, you have room to write on the inside. You can always add a back panel. But there you have it for week 2. I'm going to show you at the end of the month. We'll recap all of our fun folds for this month. But that is week 2. I hope you have enjoyed this edition of Fun Fold Friday. I will be back Sunday night for Simply Stamping Sunday, 7 o'clock again. And I will be making 3 more cards with the terrific Toadstool stamp set. I really enjoy having fun with that one too. That's probably one of my favorites out of the mini catalog. So, I hope you join me again Sunday night. I hope you've enjoyed this fun fold, and I also hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you all Sunday night. Good night, everybody.